Welcome to Uncorked, episode 9 at the world headquarters of Carfagna's. I'm one of the co-hosts, Boxer, along with Sal Carfagna, a mainstay with this podcast. Sal, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Boxer.
Episode 9, and we're diving in to the holidays and the deliciousness of Carfagna's. And guess who's back as a guest this week?
That's
Sitting right next to you, your beautiful sister, Bella. Hey, Bella.
Hey, Boxer. How is everyone?
Good to have you back here again. You said you were nervous before this taping. There's no need to be nervous. If you're anything like your brother, it's going to be just fine.
Well, are we sure about that? Maybe like my brother.
The last time that they came in, she came in with her husband,
Yes,
Eddie, and it was like, you ain't got no time to be prepared.
Yeah.
So come on in here, sit down. You guys are going to get right into it, ready or not. But this time, I can see why she's a little nervous, because next to us, we have all of the beautiful, beautiful goodies that my sister makes here at Carfagna's in Cafe Cici. In this episode, last episode, we talked a little bit about some of our imported goods that we have.
Right.
A lot of that stuff was coming right off the boat, and we were showcasing a lot of that stuff: the panettone, the torrone candies, chocolates. But there's something a little bit more special on the holiday season, and those are homemade cookies. And here at Carfagna's, what we're looking at right now, my sister makes all of these pastries, the cookies.
Amazing.
And if she's not making them, we are partnering with local bakeries that are delivering these to us weekly. I can see those rainbow cookies up there.
Yeah.
Those are from Angie's Rainbow Cookies. Those are made in Westerville, Ohio, just north of Columbus. And then those biscotti and the amarettis that are over there, that's from a gentleman named Gaetano. He makes those up out of his house in just outside of Cleveland, and his brand name
Dolce Amore.
Dolce Amore.
That's his brand, and he brings those in whenever we order them, which is about every other week or so.
Yeah.
Brings them in
That's
fresh.
the guy that's the guy that comes down from Cleveland.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember when we did the CEOs You Should Know, you were talking about him and how he delivers those delicious cookies.
Yeah.
They are fantastic.
Yeah.
His biscotti,
They're wonderful.
They are so wonderful. So traditionally, people have biscottis, and they're like this super dry, crunchy, hard cookie that, it's a dunkable cookie for your coffee, espresso, or whatever. His, they're not double baked, they're single baked, and they are soft, and they are just absolutely wonderful. Flavor is full on there. The one that is closest to you, Boxer, that is a white chocolate cranberries, pistachio, or
white
chocolate. That's just the white chocolate cranberry. I didn't put it on there. There's a golden raisin pistachio.
That's it.
And then my favorite is this apricot almond one up in the front.
Oh,
and a walnut chocolate, double chocolate walnut.
And
they're all wonderful.
And
they're beautiful.
A reminder, if you're listening to just the audio portion of this, like on the iHeartRadio app, that's awesome. But if you're actually wanting to see the visuals of some of this, you can also subscribe, and we encourage you to do that. Subscribe to the Carfagna's YouTube page, because you'll be able to see all of this stuff up close. Sal and Bella, why don't we zero in on why don't we do this? Go ahead. Wait.
No, Boxer. What's the podcast called?
Uncorked.
We got to do a little uncorking. I mean, come
let's
on,
start
man.
with that first.
But it's like, how do you pair wine with desserts and cookies and all that kind of stuff? Well, we have a fantastic bubbly. This is a demi-sec rosé champagne from Champagne, France. This is Jean Vassel's rosé. This is a demi-sec rosé champagne. Francesca, if you want the bottles next to you.
I don't know where
if you want to do your, you want to do the honors, wrap off that foil and do a little uncorking for us.
Sal,
that'd be greatly appreciated.
Sal, do you realize this is the second podcast in a row you've had, is it champagne or at least wine from France?
I know.
You know that.
We're getting bougie with it.
Yeah.
But we were going back and forth. There was like a demi-sec or semi-dry Riesling that we were looking at. There was Moscatos that we were looking at.
Yeah.
All of those, to me, I'm
Make
just,
it like pop,
I'm
right?
on a, oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Did she just ask, are you supposed to make it like pop? Or,
Well, I get yelled at.
Hey, there we go.
It was a lot quicker than I thought.
So there is a bit of science behind this. You did research, obviously, and like all episodes, with what we talk about, the core products that we talk about and the things that we taste and try. This time around, it's very sugary, very sweet. So why
this isn't going to be very sweet. Okay. This is demi-sec. So demi-sec is like a off dry, semi-dry. That's what demi-sec literally means, is semi-dry.
But it pairs
champagne.
well with...
It absolutely does. So it does have those residual sugars that tend to make it a little bit more sweeter, but it's not a full sweet wine like you would get with like a Moscato.
Okay.
Or a fully sweet Riesling. This wine here, this is why I think that it pairs so well with these cookies, because a lot of these cookies aren't sugar bombs. They are more delicate. Especially like our cannoli. Our cannoli filling is not a full sugar cannoli filling.
Yeah.
There is more ricotta in there, and it tends to be a more delicate product. And so this wine, I think, pairs very, very well with Italian sweets, because Italian sweets tend not to be so sugary, right?
Yeah.
They do tend to be just that semi-sweet, enough to have a dolce aspect to it, but it's not like a chocolate chip cookie where it's just a big sugar bomb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bella and Sal, what do you find with most of people in general, maybe your customers, when you're trying the delicious desserts from Carfagna's? Are they pairing it with something that's dry? Do they tend to go for something dry to drink, or is it just preference?
You say for desserts?
Yeah.
Desserts in general, like, people pair it with coffee. People will pair it, wine is kind of like one of those things where it's like, hey, we're having dessert. Are we going to pair it with wine? It might maybe like an after dinner cordial with it, a limoncello with it. But you can absolutely pair it with wine. And this wine specifically, this demi-sec rosé champagne, is fantastic with it because it has those residual sugars in there. It is a semi-dry wine, so it's going to be a little bit on the sweeter side, but it's not going to be overly sweet. It's going to pair very, very well with these items. So
sometimes like the contrast of a wine is always good. You always have dark chocolate. You want to have a nice red. Champagne is a beautiful thing because it has so many different ways it can go. We have a wine dinner or we've had a couple, and there's been times where I pair certain things, like I'll try to pinpoint the fruit in the wine, and I'll pair it with that, whatever I tend to make, whether it's a strudel or if it's a ricotta cake or if I want to go panna cotta and put honey in it. So it just depends on what it is, but you can really find any dessert and you can pair it with any wine.
Is that an experiment that you don't necessarily know the outcome, like what it's going to taste like when you're pairing? I've always been curious.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you continue to work things out, and you try certain recipes, you try certain things, and we do a lot of these wine dinners that, we've gotten to the point now where we're tasting these wines and we're like, okay, this is going to go good with that. You've had those flavors before. They're logged somewhere in your brain, and those receptors are hitting each other. Like, okay, this wine has these flavors. This is going to go really, really well with this. But there are certain times where you're tasting this and you're like, ooh, this might be a little bit of a risk to go this route. Maybe we do a little bit a test, right, and make a small batch of what we're trying to do, or replicate those flavors in a small tasteable form. Taste the wine with it and see if it works out well. She mentioned the panna cotta, and that was one of those times too where, this wine has these honey notes. It also has a little bit of an apricot note, maybe a little bit of citrus.
Why don't we pear? I did pear with it.
Yeah, so like let's try just a real small batch of this panna cotta, and taste the wine again with it, and see if we are where we're minds are, see if we're hitting that taste level, and see if this is a good pairing, and if not, go back to the drawing board, do it again, and recreate that. But once you kind of taste some things, you're like, okay, no, this isn't the route. Let's go this route. And more times than not, it really does work well. But Yeah, man. I mean, it's always like a shot in the dark sometimes when you're doing that. However, you can't do anything without tasting the wine. So
that's right.
Salute.
I've always wondered.
Cheers.
Salute.
Chin chin.
Wow, that has a nice kick to it.
That's
I don't even know how to describe that.
You get those sweet notes on there.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it almost hits you immediately.
Oh, definitely
Like
hits
those
you immediately.
residual sugars in there are coming, so you can see why this pairs well with desserts. However, the finish is where the dryness really comes through. I think that the sweetness to this wine drops off substantially. Taste the sip. That immediate bite is, okay, this is a sweet wine. However, as you're sitting there and it really starts to drop off, and then the dryness starts to come through, you get those tannins on the top of your mouth, right? That leathery feel. And now that I'm sitting here and I'm talking, I don't have any residual sugars in my mouth. There's no kind of sweetness that's there. In fact, it's more so the fruit that's coming through.
Absolutely.
I'm
just
getting that.
wipes it clean.
That ruby red fruits, like a raspberry, or a little bit of a bitterness to it, like a raspberry would, or like a black raspberry, something like that. Strawberries initially, right?
Yeah,
It's got like
you
this,
can taste that.
It's
You can
it's very
definitely
bright,
taste
yeah.
that.
very bright right off the bat. But that's fun, isn't it? I mean, you get the bubbles, right? That are just so fun.
And
They
I like
hit
personally.
right
I
away.
love the color.
Yes.
What a great holiday!
Oh,
like
definitely
just perfect
perfect
for
color.
that time.
Good call there, Bella.
These
Yeah.
are fun too to drop some fruit in, especially with this color. You got some pomegranate seeds to drop in there. You got some, maybe a raspberry or two
Or a
to
sprig
drop
of,
in.
like rosemary. I mean, I wouldn't drop it in there, but like even
Yeah.
putting it on the side of it or something, it'd be pretty. But
Wait, Bella, why wouldn't you drop it in there? Sal says drop it in. You say no.
No. I said a sprig. If you had a sprig of rosemary, just for like the color of like,
Gotcha,
the
gotcha.
holiday season, all
Yeah.
that next to it, I wouldn't drop it in there because I don't think it wouldn't pair well with
Yeah,
that.
no, right.
You
I
wouldn't
see
want
what you're
that.
saying.
But
Well, Sal and
just
Bella,
for decorative reasons.
there's all sorts of just deliciousness here. But why don't we zero in on, how about this? This will be an easy one. Every year, and of course, this is a holiday special podcast for Carfagnas. What's a product that we're looking at here that is just a hot seller that people just flock in here to get, and you can talk about it?
So during the holiday time, I mean, the cookies, number one, because that is just such a great, I'm going to get a few pounds of cookies and bring it to a party, and we tray them up. We can do whatever you want.
Santa prefers Italian cookies too, Boxer. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you know that. but
I've
to all
heard
the listeners
this.
out
Word
there,
on the street is that he
What-
prefers those.
So since we're on that, and with the holidays, and you know how things can run out, okay, let's say you're going to a party and you want to pick up Italian cookies. How far in advance should you order those from Carfagna's?
If you want a specific one, if you're like, oh, I really need the farfalle or the ricottas, and they're big sellers, right?
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
definitely probably our top two, besides really any of these are. But definitely give us a heads up, a couple days in advance at least.
Okay.
At least two. If you want to be super sure, call us a week ahead, whatever.
Yeah.
Let us know. If you don't care, come in and just grab it from the case. We always have our staff back there, and they're always happy to help and happy to do whatever you need. So
absolutely.
They will,
The cookies. Francesca and her team is making these cookies daily, and during the holiday time, it's like revamp overtime. Just go with cookies because it is a very hot item. We tend not to really sell out until it's like those the day before
That week of
Christmas
Christmas.
Eve.
Oh, wow.
The 23rd.
Okay.
Those is when
Yeah.
that's when it's like, hey, we're kind of at capacity with this. These are the cookies that we have available, and you're in here today wanting these
Right.
cookies, and we don't have them. They might be being made right now. We might be making them tomorrow or tonight, and you might be
'cause
out of luck.
there's times people will come in and they'll be like, give me that whole tray. Oh, often, especially in the holidays.
wow.
Yeah. I want that whole tray. Just give me all that's on there.
So it is always good to do a pre-order if you
Okay.
know
It
exactly
is.
what
Yeah.
you
If you
want.
know what you want.
Pinoles are another very big
There's
Italian
special
cookie.
orders too, which I wasn't even thinking of that. There's we do a special order of pignolis.
What is a pignoli?
So a pignoli is basically an amaretti, which is one of these cookies, and they have pignoli, pine nuts. Sorry, pine nuts on top. Pignoli is pine nut in Italian.
So it looks, Bella, it looks like there's frosting or something on top. What is
That's
that?
powdered sugar.
Oh, it's just powdered sugar.
Powdered sugar.
Okay.
And this is also an amaretti. This is an espresso amaretti.
Oh, an espresso one. Oh,
yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
But
Keeps you awake too.
And then Gaetano makes a couple as well. His are a little bit different, a little bit more denser, but yeah. So these are his amaretti. Sorry, you need the cherry and that one. And I was going to say though, I'm sorry. If you want a specific cookie that we do not make in house, and it comes from a different person like Gaetano or Betsy who makes Angie's cookies,
right?
Those you would need at least just a week in advance just to secure that we have it or we can get it in from him. Because that, especially Gaetano, I mean, I have to order it at least a week in advance. That way he can have time to make it and then drive it down here. So
because we're not their only vendor, right? They're making it for other retailers, other farmer markets or whatnot, and we need to make sure that, hey, if we're going to put this order in, that they have the capacity to increase their cookie baking. Apart from Francesca's homemade cookies, she talked about amarettis, and I have 3 other boxes of amarettis on the table over there.
Yes.
Those are imported from Italy.
So
go ahead and grab one of those, Boxer. Yeah. Okay. So that is the.
They're a very popular cookie in Italy.
Yes, that's the almond amaretti.
Sorry.
This
would be a traditional.
A very traditional amaretti cookie. These are from Sicily. They come in a beautiful box, clear cellophane over top of it, so you can see the cookie. There's a bow that's on top of it.
Yeah.
The different flavors have different colored boxes on them, so you're holding up a cappuccino.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
amaretti.
cappuccino.
Yeah,
wow.
they wonderful different flavors. There's a lemon one. And these, you can tell they're handmade. They're not machine pressed. They have, each one has its own kind of unique shape, and they're a lot of fun. There's 9 amarettis per box on those, and
I don't see a price.
And those are some of our imported cookies, and we have a lot of different imported cookies that are coming right now. We're putting them out on the shelf, and just so fun. It's just kind of really unique how, yes, we make a lot of these cookies. Yes, we're making them homemade, but there are Italian cookies that we have that are homemade. This is small batch, small production, handmade cookies imported from Italy that we are selling here in Columbus, Ohio. It's so fun, and it's very cool.
Amazing. You know what I was thinking about too is I love how, we always talk about in the deli, how you partner with different farmers. But you also partner with different, on some of the stuff, different bakeries too. I like that. Yeah.
We're very much, we take pride in local and keeping it that way, but also in, here, importing good Italian products that we have tried, that we know are good, and that we hope that you will all love out there. Yeah, when you try to find those, it's hard to find bakeries and stuff, but we luckily have a couple contacts.
A lot of them have actually, since COVID, closed down too.
Oh, wow.
It's not a demand issue. It's actually quite the opposite. It's fulfillment of it. They can't get people to work.
Wow.
Different hours. When COVID happened, those bakeries had to close down. The people found other jobs and never went back to the bakery. And the owners of those bakeries are the ones who were putting in those hours, and they were at capacity. They couldn't do it anymore. It is sad,
That is sad.
We
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it is. It's scary. But Corbo's Bakery up in Cleveland. I don't know if you've heard them.
Right.
In Little Italy. I used to get some of their cookies here when we first opened. I would get some from them, and they stopped doing wholesale because they couldn't keep up.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of people that are from Cleveland that are in Columbus now, and they, it's the nostalgia. They love Corbo's, and it was great that they could come here and not have to make the trip all the way up north. But yeah, it's just, it's hard.
It is hard.
It's time-consuming products. and it takes a lot of work sometimes.
Such a great point to make too is just because business might not be good, it doesn't mean that these businesses can keep going. If you don't have the people to keep it running, what do you do? I feel sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Wow.
Absolutely.
And I know we're going to talk, guys, Sal and Bella, about some of the one thing I was excited to hear about, because I don't come from an Italian background. But I'm very excited to hear about some of the Italian Christmas traditions, and you pair some of those traditions with the food. Could you guys talk about that a little bit?
Where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start?
How about one of the more popular traditions?
Sure.
The feast?
That's what I was going to start off with, Francesca, is the Feast of Seven Fishes.
Okay.
And that is a Christmas Eve tradition. Our family does that, but we do it a little bit differently. Our mother is from a large family. She's one of 10 people on the Kua family, and we are 2 of 36 cousins on that side.
Wow.
Now, every Christmas Eve, our family, we all get together.
Oh, I bet that's fun.
And,
That's a lot.
instead
A lot
of
of
a Feast of Seven Fishes, it's more of a potluck where everybody makes a dish, a seafood dish, and then brings it, and it's up to you to have 7 different types of fish within that feast. And so that is always a very big tradition of ours. We always pick a name through the KK exchange where, you pick a name of
Secret
a
Santa.
Secret Santa of another cousin.
That's great.
And we exchange gifts that way. And then it's just,
You eat,
you
you drink
all night
you have
long,
fun. Yeah.
have fun, and
Be
then
merry.
there's always a side table, the dining room table. Nobody sits at the dining room table. Everybody is up and mingling and whatnot, but the dining room table is literally laid out with nothing but cookies and other. There's obviously cannolis on there. There might be some cake,
Yeah.
but the dining room table is always filled with desserts. So after you have your fish and after you're drinking your wine, maybe you switch over to some espresso or limoncello or amaro and dive into the desserts that are just wonderful. That my aunt, my mom, Bella, all the other
Everyone
cousins,
makes,
everybody
yeah.
makes
Yeah.
all these different cookies, and
It really
it's fun.
it started. We've had the cookie tables at weddings and all that, but it actually, I guess, kind of recently I heard the real story about how these cookie tables at our family gatherings started. It was our Aunt Laura, who she's passed now, but she said, you know what, like, why do we always do these cakes? You eat half of it and then it sits there and nobody takes anything home. Why don't we make cookies? Everybody bring a cookie to a party, to whatever party. Everybody just bring their favorite cookie, and it makes it a party. That's what she said. Bring a cookie and it makes it a
love that.
party.
It's a great
and
idea.
It does. And then you're more, I don't know, I guess it's easier to take that home than taking home a piece of cake and having cookies in the morning with coffee and
And it's now morphed into a cookie exchange where they'll, on like a specific day before Christmas Eve, week before Christmas or whatnot, they'll have the cookie exchange party where everybody brings X amount of cookies, and then everybody, you take a couple, leave a couple type of thing, and you bring your cookies to the party, and then you leave with a sampling of all the cookies.
I like that idea.
Oh my gosh, who doesn't like that idea? When I was in high school and I was wrestling and cutting weight, that was always a very difficult day. It was always like, oh, just come on.
I didn't know you were a wrestler, Sal.
Yes, sir.
With
Yes,
things
sir.
you find out.
the holidays were tough times. For
Yeah,
I bet.
yes, they were.
I
But
bet. By the way, side note, how crazy did those family get-together? Are those family get-togethers at Christmas time?
I mean, to us, it is normal. Like, that's just how we grew up, and we've always been a part of it. It's always very fun to see the new additions,
The in-laws
the
come in
in-laws or
and be like,
the
"Whoa."
new spouses or whatnot. The new girlfriend or boyfriend that's
Yeah.
coming in and experiencing that for the first time. We always put our arm around them and be like, "Hey, it's like just trying to take a sip out of a fire hydrant,
Yeah.
isn't it?"
Yeah.
So to us, that's how life was, and we didn't know anything else. We just, that was how big our family was. That's
Yeah.
how. And
We always
they are
grew up
fun.
next door to family too. So when we at the first court we lived on, Aunt Terry and Uncle Dino, my cousins Dino and Michael, Rick and Tony, they all lived right next door. You're in and out of each other's houses.
Yeah.
And then we moved next door to my Aunt Anna Maria, my Uncle Jamie, and their 4 kids. And down the street was my Aunt Laura, who did the cookies and all that. So it was just, you're in and out of houses. There's always someone there, and it's just how it is. Yeah. There's always family.
By the way, Bella, is your husband fitting in well? I would imagine he is.
His family is very similar to our family. Very similar, which is wonderful. And that's, I think, one of the things he fell in love with when he first started coming around. And he was like, okay, I'll stay.
will you go back to Italy at all for Christmas for his family, or how does that work?
It's very hard for us to get off during Christmas time, the holiday time.
Sure.
So one day in the future,
5 p.m. on Christmas Eve.
I figured.
We hope one day in the future we'll be able to, because in Italy, Christmas is just a very cool experience.
Yeah.
And I know he really wants to go back, and I mean, it's like anywhere. It's that joy, that love of family. You want to be around them. So, but they also have these Christmas markets. Not so much where he's at in Italy, but in Europe, especially up north in Germany and where else? Switzerland has a few of them too, and they're very cool. And it's like the whole, like the piazzas, all that stuff, the whole cities, they turn into these huge Christmas markets, and you walk around and it's food, and there are hot drinks and all that, and it's Christmas everywhere, and it looks like a Hallmark movie.
I love it.
And I really need to go.
Well, speaking of that, this podcast is being taped on November 1st, and I have to say that it's November 1st. Yesterday was Halloween. I walk into the front doors of Carfagna's in the marketplace here, and you know what hit me? Christmas goodies right away, right in front. And I have to tell you, it felt really good. I'm one of those guys where, okay, I know yesterday was Halloween, but I am one of those, we go right from Halloween to Christmas. Turkey kind of gets screwed, but
were you blasting Mariah Carey at 8 a.m. this morning?
No, but did you? Speaking of that, did you see Mariah Carey like at midnight or 12:01 put out this Christmas video already for All I Want for Christmas?
I saw a meme. I saw a meme. It was her album, her Christmas album, and it was covered in ice, but it was like breaking and chipping, and it was like she's thawing.
I mean, why not when you're the queen of Christmas, right?
It's so funny.
But I have to tell you, Christmas is a joyous time of the year, as well it should be. The birth of Jesus Christ, and I just love how you guys and Carfagna celebrate that here.
It is a very important thing for us, for our family, as your family. You have all your traditions, you have all of your meaningful family, the love, everything that's around it, the joy, the birth of Christ, like you said. But especially here at Carfagna's, there is something that is said about tradition and going back generations. You still have these customers that come in that talk about their family traditions that were back on Cleveland Avenue coming into the store during Christmas, and then 161 and the people who were lined up waiting to come in, or the cars parked all the way to the White Castle that was down the street.
And they look forward to that because it's their
tradition.
And they
look forward to that. They would say, you're going into Carfagna's and you're spending an hour waiting for your ticket to be called. And we've since, obviously the meat counter still has grab a number and whatnot, but we've streamlined a lot of those processes here to where we don't want people waiting an hour. There are obviously lines. You're not going to get away from it. There's an influx of people that are coming in.
Yeah.
But we try to embody that, giving out hot chocolate, giving out cider, giving out holiday drinks to people that are coming in and shopping with us, giving them cookies, giving them samples, and thanking them.
That.
And
making it an
building,
experience.
building on
making a memory,
that experiential tradition.
You know what I was just thinking about too with you guys and Carfagna's, the marketplace. Of course, you got the restaurant too, the deli, the bakery. Is you guys must have generations of customers now from different generations. Because if you think about 1937, right? Is 1937?
Yep. Yes.
And I mean, you think about all the generations that have been at Carfagna's, that have used Carfagna's. You must run into those people all the time.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's extremely heartwarming when you are talking with somebody and they're like, I can still smell 161. Like it's it is permeated in my brain going there with my grandparents, right? And those grandparents were friends with our great-grandfather. And going to Cleveland Avenue and and hearing about them and their stories about going into the old store on the corner of Cleveland and Core. And now their grandchildren are shopping with us. They're our friends. They are a part of our family. They're a part of this tradition and this wonderful, wonderful thing that we have here in Columbus, and being able to give that back to those people, and building on those traditions and creating new traditions and creating new product memories with cookies and the rib roasts and tenderloins. And even like us, as we're building our young families, you start to form your own family traditions, right? And so you take what was instilled into you at a young age, and it kind of morphs into a little bit of new tradition, right? The Feast of Seven Fishes was always a very traditional, you're with your immediate family, you're sitting down, you have these specific 7 fish dishes that represent each of the 7 deadly sins. And there are very traditional fish dishes. However, now in the year 2024, ours is a giant potluck where everybody's bringing some type of fish dish, and it could be anything from sushi to white clam sauce to, you got some bacala sitting there. Somebody's out back grilling a piece of fish. Somebody's grilling octopus. And
it would last all night. Remember, Mom, it used to be hosted at our home, and my mom would come down and we all be in the basement hanging out with our cousins and stuff. She'd be like, go home, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
To get to bed.
It's past midnight. Get to bed. And it's like, we don't want to. Keep this going until the morning.
Yeah, keep this going. We don't want this to end.
But it is, yeah. And you create those new traditions, and then they become part of your children's lives. And it's just, it is a very, very fun, loving thing that Christmas season brings. And for us here, it is work. It's a lot of work, but that work is play to us. And we're here. We're with our family. We're with our friends. They're coming in. We're helping them, build their Christmas dinners, their Christmas Eve dinners, their New Year's dinners. And
I'm one of them.
Yes,
I'm one of them.
And we're bringing those memories and those traditions to their table, and being a part of that is so special. It is so special. And while we are here, we're having fun too, and we're enjoying that time, and we got smiles on our faces, and it's just. It's
Christmas for us.
It's Christmas,
You don't think anything of it. People are always like, oh, you have to work, don't you? And it's like, but it's...
I'm around the people I'd be around anyway, so...
I've never not worked on Christmas. It's not like, it's just something that is just a part of it.
Yeah, I was thinking, when he was mentioning, being outside getting hot chocolate or giving people their roasts, we grew up and we were the ones outside standing by the truck waiting to get someone's meat package or roast or turkey, and you're running in and out, and just tradition.
Bella, you brought up such an interesting point that I never thought about. Is there's so many family members who are working here at Carfagna's, and so many other places outside of here. If you're working on Christmas or during the holidays, you would get from someone, oh, sorry, you got to work in the holidays. You got to be away from your family. Well, you're with your family.
Yeah. Always.
Always.
Whether you like to or not, right? And I know I'm jumping ahead, but I just want to put this in your heads. You realize in a little over 12 years, you're celebrating 100 years. You know that, right?
Yes, very aware.
That's wow. That's
easy to think about.
It's remarkable. So hopefully we can continue to get there. You think about 12 years prior to 2024. 2012. Those are a lot of years that went by, and a lot of things can happen in 12 years. So we're thankful that we have these 87 now going on 88 years. And we're hoping and we're working very, very hard to get to that 100. That is a huge milestone. That is a goal. That is something that we are not taking lightly. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done just to get there, right?
So just 1 year at a time. We'll get there.
Such a great point, guys. I want to steer towards some of the items that you have on the table here.
Let's dig into some. Come on, I know your eyes are on something, Boxer. Come on, man.
It's not
get
that
up,
I want.
get over there on that table. Pick something. Start diving in, man.
I mean, you know what's calling my name, and maybe yours too, are the cannolis.
The cannolis.
Go for it, buddy.
I feel bad. We've had the cannolis before.
Oh man.
But
have you had the chocolate or the peanut butter or the pistachio?
I haven't had the peanut butter actually.
Or the chocolate covered strawberry.
Oh,
the peanut butter here. I have a.
Sal says you should always get the chocolate covered ones. Is that? Didn't you tell me that?
No.
Sal?
I said you should, if you are planning on not eating the cannolis tonight or the next day.
Sorry, that's what it was.
No, you're in here. You're getting stuff for a weekend party, and it's like Wednesday or it's Thursday.
Right.
I said, get the chocolate covered ones so that they can last a little bit longer in your fridge.
It's like a protective
it's a
layer
protective
over
barrier.
the
So
shell.
you still got that crunch on there. So if you are going home and you're going to be taking these and you're not going to be eating them that night or the next day, I do recommend getting a chocolate covered one just to kind of increase that life on the shell.
But, and I know we'll dig into this. We can do that right now. I wanted to ask, though, about some of the chocolate items with alcohol in them, so like whiskey. Tell us about that.
These just came in. At last podcast, we were talking, and there's still some items that are coming in. These just came in a couple days ago. So fun. We've been trying to source these for a few years now.
Yeah?
These were kind of a staple for us back on 161, and our suppliers that used to carry them dropped them off. So we've been trying to source them, and we finally found an importer that has them. These are all imported chocolates. They're from Germany. They're from Switzerland. They're from France. They're from Italy.
I love them. They're cute.
They are hollow pieces of chocolate. Okay. So they're some of them are in the shape of bottles.
Right. Yeah.
And they are hollow inside, and then they have liquor-filled chocolate. So whatever it is, so like you see Cointreau over there, that's the orange liqueur, like a triple sec.
Oh yeah.
And so that's a bottle, chocolate bottle, small bottle. They're probably, for those of you who are listening, they sit probably about like 2 to 3 inches high, and they're filled with Cointreau inside. I have whiskey and rum barrels, so those are small little chocolate barrels that are half and half. Some of them have whiskey in it, the other half have rum in it. Then, of course, we have the brandy beans, the famous German brandy beans that are in the shape of a bean, and then inside is filled with brandy. Some new things that we have, there's Irish cream chocolates.
That looks good.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, that
good.
does.
Those filled with like a Bailey's Irish cream. There are Scotch filled bottles, so those are, and that is with those. There's a Lagavulin one. There's Oban. There's
Look at that.
Talisker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that the box alone looks classy.
Dalwhinnie, Singleton. I mean, these are. I mean, like, look at that. It's just
that
really,
makes
really
for
fun.
a great gift.
Single malt Scotch collection, dark chocolate with genuine single malt Scotch whiskeys in liquid centers. 10 chocolate bottles that come in this pack. For those of the Scotch lovers, it's a premium dark chocolate that has the Scotch that's inside.
Sal and Bella, do we know from research and development or experiment if you were to devour a box, can you become intoxicated? You know?
I mean, like,
I don't know.
In one sitting. I mean,
Let's try.
There's a little bit. So it says that it has 2.5%.
Oh, okay.
Of max 2.8 alcohol per little bottle.
You'd probably get a stomachache before you get intoxicated.
Yeah, probably.
It's more for the flavor and the taste of it all.
That's great.
The filling is 33% of the entire ingredient label. So that filling that's in there, the chocolate with filling, with original spirits, so on there. But the alcohol minimum 2.5%, maximum 2.8%. So I don't think that you can. It's more so
it's more of a joke, but
it's more so the flavor that's paired with that chocolate.
Well,
right?
and
there is alcohol in there. You have to show your ID to purchase these items. But
those have to be popular
if
though.
you pour all of that liquid out of those bottles, it might make one shot. You know what I mean? Like, so it's
Great stocking stuffer.
Great stocking stuffers.
Exactly.
Fun thing. The champagne ones are great for like New Year's Eve.
I was just gonna say,
get those, put them in a little bowl, out on the table for New Year's.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
They're
for those of you
fun.
listening, there is some champagne filled chocolate bottles, and they're fun. You know
what's funny is almost every time I've done a podcast here, I leave buying something over there.
It's almost by design, isn't it? He's on to us quick.
So now I know what I'm getting today for my wife.
Yeah.
Stocking stuffer.
Oh,
Or
are you kidding?
Are you guys busting into this thing right now?
She'd devour all of that. I mean, she
Yeah.
just loves that kind of stuff. But I would imagine those have got to be really popular items. We talked about your cookies. Anything else here, guys, that we're looking at that you want to touch on?
So
Go ahead and grab your cannoli boxer.
Yeah.
Should I get
Grab
is there
your
a
cannoli.
napkin? Oh, so here
We
I
have
can get
napkins.
it. Oh wait, here I can do it.
So the
okay.
cannolis.
Bella's like, I got it.
For those of you listening, we also have our 3 tiramisus on the table.
Thanks, Bella.
Those are another
Thank you.
very, very popular item. Those are items that we sell actually by the half sheets, so you can get a pan. Essentially, what
there's
is it,
about
like?
15 pieces in a pan,
15
or
pieces.
if you want to, you could cut that even smaller and get 30 smaller pieces out of it. They run $49.99. And there's tiramisu, our classic tiramisu, that
what I was
coffee flavor.
wondering. Okay.
There's a limoncello, which is lemon. There's no coffee in that one.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
as well as the almond tiramisu, there's also no coffee, but it's an almond flavoring.
May
They're
I
delicious.
try your espresso cookie?
The Amaretti?
Yeah,
Yeah.
would I try that? Okay, thank you. I'm gonna just try that. What about you guys? I can't eat alone here.
I know. I love the sfogliatelli.
The sfogliatelle's good. I had it warmed up, but now it's probably not warm anymore.
That's one of my favorites. That is a phyllo dough flaky crust that looks in the shape of a she shell. There is a lemon custard that's on the inside.
It's actually a ricotta. It's a citrus ricotta dough on the inside. So when you warm them up, it's flaky and it's real soft on the center, and it's just so good. And it's not overpowering citrus. It's very light, and like we were talking earlier, not a sugar bomb. It's just a very almost like savory. It's good. It's
Yeah.
very good.
I think
More
I'm gonna-
buttery.
I think I'm going to stay claim to that ricotta cookie that's over there, though. That's one of my favorites. Francesca,
Yes,
can you
our
grab that ricotta
ricottas,
cookie?
actually my mother's recipe.
I think this
Oh,
would go
wow.
actually pair
Yep.
really well with the wine that we have.
Let
so.
me just say this cookie.
So there's a lemon and a vanilla ricotta.
Oh yeah, may I? Yeah.
And the ricotta, I also have a ricotta cake here. Same idea, just cake, more cake form.
Okay. Okay.
But it has that ricotta makes it very soft. The dough ends up when you bake it stays soft. It doesn't get hard, and it's
Cookie's like a pillow.
Yeah.
It is, and the lemon hits you. Like with this cookie, the espresso hits you.
yeah,
I think.
yeah. Well, that was the intention. So good.
Well, it's like, wow. I mean, that's what we're trying to
That's
do.
what I wanted. But our ricotta cakes are great, especially again if you warm them, they're delicious. If it's cold, it's great. Wonderfully paired with fresh fruit and whipped cream.
And that, I'm
Very
sorry, Bella,
light.
that's called what again?
This is a ricotta cake.
Ricotta cake.
This
Okay.
is, I just touched that. This is an almond ricotta, and then I also have a lemon ricotta over there.
Oh, this one. Okay. This okay.
And that's
And
the packaging. We usually we'll have them out for the holiday season.
Yeah.
And we keep them in the freezer usually, and they're ready to go, and you can take it home, and then whenever you're ready to serve it, either put it in your freezer, your fridge. You can pop it in the oven just to warm it up and get it nice and soft and warm. And
Bella, what is a day
Wonderful.
in the life of you in the bakery during the holiday season? What
I'm usually in
from-
the back, covered in flour. That's pretty much it.
Keeping warm
it's-
by the ovens.
Yeah,
right.
staying warm by the ovens.
But from-
a lot of the times we'll have family visitors come back there. My dad, Sal, just looking for a treat. Like,
Do you really?
I'm
Little
like, is
morsel.
something going on? No, nothing. And if there's something fresh out of the oven, they'll be like,
Oh, this one's broken. Can't sell
sorry.
Oops. All right. But Bella, like, what from time wise, from when to when? Like, when are you getting in here? When are you wrapping up during the holidays?
That depends. But I mean, I normally spend at least 12 hours here during the holidays, easily. Sometimes longer. You know, my baker Josie back there. She's a close family friend, and she started with us when we moved here. And she's like, well, this year I'm really hoping that, we can get ahead of things and we don't have to spend like a whole week, 12-hour days in the bakery, but we can, we space it out better. I'm like, yeah, that's the plan, Josie. That's the plan. But, 7 a.m. start, and we usually end hopefully around 7. Sometimes it's later.
Yeah.
Usually, honestly, like on a good day, it's around 5 during the holidays, at least for the bakery. And then usually I'll shift to the front and go to the cafe.
And real people, by the way, are making these products, not AI or robots.
No, it's all real. And a lot of the girls up front, they are rolling out the cookies. We'll make the dough in the back. We'll bring it up front. And that's one of the rules of being an employee in the cafe. You got to get your hands dirty with dough. You got
I like
to.
it. I like it.
They're always working. There's always somebody during the cafe or during the Christmas time. There is always one person just on cannolis, just making cannolis all day.
Yeah.
One person cutting tiramisus all day. It's the way it is. But
guys, I know we have to wrap up, but I know we have a part 2 that's coming in December, as far as talking more holiday stuff, and there's so much to get to with the holidays at Carfagna's. Anything else we didn't touch on this episode that you want to hit real quick?
We do have a holiday, baking class in our cooking classroom. Those are very, very few. We have a lot of private parties that are here at Carfagna's in December for Christmas celebrations. And so our cooking class is really, really, we don't have a lot of time to have cooking classes in December.
Oh, you guys are so busy too. I mean,
yeah. So if you want to get in and get your hands with some dough, keep an eye out for those. You can go to carfagnas.com and search for those. And, that's always a fun thing to do, especially if you are interested in gift giving as well. If you go to our website, we have cooking class vouchers that you can absolutely give somebody for Christmas. That voucher is good to cover a whole class. So however many vouchers that you want to give somebody, you can give them 2. They want to take their significant other, or if you want to, have them have multiple types of classes, you can go to carfagnas.com and you can gift a cooking class voucher there. The next episode, I think we're going to dive into one of the mainstays of Carfagna's in Christmas, and that is our rib roasts.
Oh yeah.
I think we're gonna have to
panettone, maybe.
We did that last one.
Oh, you did do panettone.
Yeah,
Good.
Did panettone. Yeah. Boxer had what was it? I think it was it Nocciola?
Oh, hazelnut?
Yes, it was the hazelnut. Yeah.
Well,
the gianduja.
Gianduja, that was it. It was like a Nutella.
Was it filled with it?
Chocolate
stuffed
and
in
hazelnut.
there?
Yeah, it was piped
So
in,
good.
chocolate
So good.
covered,
Sinful.
chocolate chips on top. It was just a wonderful, wonderful panettone.
Yeah. It was difficult to have to come back today.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So yeah, we covered some candies today. We covered some cookies and whatnot.
One
and I
thing
think
we didn't cover, I just want to mention
Sure.
real quick, is our gelato. We make it in-house.
right.
I couldn't bring it here. We couldn't have it on display or else it'd melt. But yeah, so if you guys haven't come in and tried that, it is all made in-house. I learned out in California, and then I trained Mark, who is now making it in the back. And it's wonderful. All our ingredients come from Italy. It's a great
except for
product.
the milk. The milk comes
and
from
the milk.
Hartzler's.
I'm sorry, the milk is local. It is Hartzler's milk.
The
I
milk
will
is
say
not
that.
imported, but the
But
milk
like
glad to
I
hear
should
that,
say,
Sal.
like
Milk cream is
our
local.
pastes. I'm sorry, I should say like our Italian flavors, our pistachio paste, all that. The nocciola, it's all imported. Our pistachio paste comes from Sicily. It's DOP. And yeah, so if you haven't had a chance to try it, come in and try it. We have seasonal flavors. The one in Christmas is going to be a gingerbread, and our flavors now, the maple pecan and the pumpkin. If you like it, you better come and get it because it's not going to be here much longer.
Yeah. No, that's
So-
true.
Do you make a peppermint? For
And we usually do a peppermint bark gelato as well for Christmas.
Hey,
holidays.
just one more thing too. With this episode, it's the November episode. Is there anything people tend to come in Carfagna's and get that's popular for Thanksgiving?
Pie.
Just the pies. The pies you touched on,
Yeah.
Hams.
Okay.
So
All right.
our hams, we have the Carfagna fire glazed spiral cut ham.
Okay.
That is going to be already spiral cut. And then we'll have the local Falters smoked hams. That is a full butt ham from Falters, which is down in just outside of German Village. Been there for years. Their family and our families have been doing business almost since each other's inception.
Yeah.
And we are very proud to have a lot of Falters products on our shelf, but their hams are just fantastic hams. Yes, they're not spiral cut, so you will have to do a little bit extra, work on those hams. But I like that a little bit better because you can cut it yourself. You can get a nice little thick slab if you want, and do it how you want. Our turkeys are all local. They are free range, vegetable fed. What else?
We have gravy that we make in house.
Gravy.
And we
okay.
serve as well.
Yeah.
All our sides are green beans. People love the green beans.
The holiday dinners. So for Thanksgiving, we do a pre-made Thanksgiving dinner. We've been doing these for quite some time now. All of those sides. It is a full prepared Thanksgiving dinner. It'll feed 6 to 10 people. Wow. It comes with a 11 to 14 pound in that range roasted turkey with reheating instructions on there. That turkey, just because there's reheating, it is not dry at all. Like the way that we prepare that, we kill the cook process right when it's at that specific temperature.
Yeah.
And then we chill it down so that when you are re-roasting it to bring it back up to temperature, it still stays very nice and moist. And then all the sides that come there are all homemade by scratch. Those are our catering chefs that make every single one of those sides. The mashed potatoes, the gravy, the green beans, everything in there is all homemade from scratch on those dinners. And then obviously we expand that for Christmas, and we have 6 different holiday dinner options that you can have too, that each of those feeds 6 to 10 people.
Yeah.
Those dinners come with a pie. They do come with an apple or pumpkin pie. You get to choose which one you want. So for Thanksgiving, that's always a very, very hot item for us. And we do have to cut those orders off because our chefs have a limited capacity that they can do to produce those dinners. And so if you do want one of those, we recommend getting them in sooner rather than later.
Sure.
There will be a cutoff. We do right now have a promo code on those online pre-orders. That promo code is XMAS, XMAS 2024. Xmas 2024. You use that code and you will get $10 off of any of your holiday pre-orders. That will go on through, I think, the week before Thanksgiving. And then after that happens, those items are going to be used for our holiday roasts and the holiday dinners. So if you are listening and you are interested in any of those items, you can use that promo code to get $10 off your order.
All right. Well, look, this has been amazing. Sal and Bella, thank you for your time. I know it's not always easy to get away, especially with what you're doing right now, getting ready for the holidays. So this has been a great episode. Looking forward to talking more holiday stuff in the December episode.
Likewise,
podcast.
man.
So, and Sal, you always do such a great job of taking us out of every podcast. So take it away.
Francesca, do you want to do the honors this time, or a little
I'm
bit
not
of manja
sure.
bene? Manja bene?
I'm not sure what you say.
Okay.
So go ahead. Let's
Ladies
just
and gentlemen,
tradition.
thank you guys for listening. Looking forward to the holiday season. And as always, manja bene.